Yes, start.
Om 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 Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sabhayai Namaha. Shri Matre Namaha. Gomatre Namaha. Gita Matre Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I'm advancing the slides. The knowledge is vast, art is long, time is short, and obstacles are many. What should we do? We should try to know only the essence. Leave all the nations, just like the Himalayan swan that knows to drink only the milk, even when diluted with waters in bulk. And the verse in Sanskrit goes like this. Ananta Shastram Bahuveditavyam. Ananta Shastram Bahuveditavyam. Alpascha Kalo Bahavascha Vignaha. Yassarabhutam Tadupasitavyam Hamso Yadha Kshiramivambu Madhyat. So there is an alternative way of saying this verse. Instead of Ananta Shastram, you may say Aneka Shastram. Bahuveditavyam. Veditavyam. Alpascha Kalaha or Swalpascha Kalaha. Bhavascha Vignaha. Yassarabhutam Tadveditavyam or Tadupasitavyam. Hamso Yadha Kshiramivambu Mishram. Mishram means mixed, milk mixed with waters. Or Kshiramivambu Madhyat. Ambu means water, Kshiram means milk. So once more. Ananta Shastram Bahuveditavyam Alpascha Kalo Bahavascha Vignaha Yassarabhutam Tadupasitavyam Hamso Yadhakshiram Ivambu Madhyat. So we'll try to get the essence. And the essence of all Shastras is Mahabharata. Bharate Gitika Vara. So, Sarva Shastresu Bharatam. Bharate Gitika Vara. And another one is Sahasra Nama Picha. Sahasranama, Vishnu Sahasranamas also. So, these two, Vedyam Pathyam Cha Tadvayam. So, this shloka I saw it etched on the black marble stone in Gita Mandir in Udupi. So we have 4 pillars of Sanatana Dharma, 4 pillars. So one is Dharma, Karma, Brahma, Punarjanma. So first one is Dharma, second is Karma, third is Brahman or Brahma, and Punarjanma. We have talked a little bit about Dharma and Swadharma in the first chapter and beginning of the second chapter. And Karma we will be studying a little bit more in third chapter and so on. And Brahma Padartham or Brahma Tattvam we have seen from verse 11 to verse 30. So 20 verses. Atma Vimshati, Atma Tattva Vimshati or Brahma Tattva Vimshati. Vimshati means 20 verses. Then about Punarjanma we will be talking in the 6th chapter. Atman, Brahman, Supreme. Om. Atma, Brahma. Atma means all pervading. Atti iti Atman. Brahman, Bruhatvat, because of its grandness, grandiosity. It's called Brahman. Or because it encompasses everything, overwhelms everything, covers everything. Brahmanatvat Brahman. Unmanifest state is called Avyakta. Imperishable Akshara. Indeclinable Avyaya. Unborn Aja. No old age Ajara. Deathless Amara. Infinite Ananta. Immeasurable Aprameya. The generator, operator, and dissolver. Susti Sthiti Layakaraka. God. Sat means Asti, ever existent. Chit, ever illumining. Bhati. And bliss is Ananda Priyam. So, Asti, Bhati, Priyam. Sat, Chit, Ananda. There is a shloka. Asti Bhati Priyam Rupam Namachediti Amsha Panchakam. Adyatrayam Brahma Rupam Jagadrupam Tadodvayam. So, Asti Bhati Priyam. Sat, Chit, Ananda is Brahma Rupa, Nirguna, Nirakara. And so difficult with all these words which we have explained about, tried to explain about the inexplicable, that is Brahma. But Nama and Rupa, the name and form is the Jagat Rupa. And we have to live in this world with that consciousness, in the light of that consciousness. So we have to live in this world in the light of that consciousness, and that is Sthita Prajna Lakshanas. The names are profound, beyond these words and our mind, and only in silence, my friend, the God is to be found indeed. Unmanifest, unlimited, unimaginable, eternal, effulgent, and empowering. Unthinkable, achintyam, and untouched in any which way. The God is all-pervading in every which way. Subtler than the subtlest, yet greater than the greatest. Anoraneyan, Mahato Mahiyan. Immutable, omnipotent, all-illumining, omniscient and omnipresent, absolute, ancient, and very old. Nay, ever-aging but never old. Ever-aging but never old. Pura api nava iti puratana. Birthless and deathless, ageless and genderless, nameless and formless, God is changeless, thus told. And we have talked about that in the first 20 verses, starting with Ashochyanan Vashochastvam. And then we have talked about Vasamsi Jirnani. We have talked about Dehinosmin Yadha Dehi. We have talked about Nainam Chindanti Shastrani. Achedyohim, Adahyohim. And we also talked about the essence of the message of Bhagavad Gita as Hakuna Matata. Nothing to worry. Grieving not, worrying not is the message Krishna is giving to us. To be happy, be content. Grieve not, worry not. And which is said in the very first verse, Ashochyanan Vashochastvam Prajna Vadamscha Bhashase. And again it will be repeated in the 11th and 16th and 18th chapters. In the second chapter itself, we have seen this again and again, Krishna reminding us, Natvam Shochitum Arhasi, Naivam Shochitum Arhasi, Nanu Shochitum Arhasi, Naivam Papam Avapsyasi, Karma Bandham Prahasyasi. And we talked about the one-pointedness, which we should inculcate and then teach our youngsters, the kids. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kurunandana bahushakhayanantascha buddhayo avyavasayanam. Focused mind will succeed and the distracted mind is defeated. And the famous verse which I sent today, Karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhuh mate sangostva karmani. The four components of this verse. We only have ability, eligibility, responsibility to do the work. but we do not have control on the results of the work. Because it is dependent on 5 factors, which is explained in the 18th chapter later on. That is, adhishthanam tatha karta karanam cha pruthak vidam vividascha pruthak chestaha vividascha pruthak chestaha daivam chaivatra panchamam. And the 5 factors are the healthy body. That's why it is so important to keep ourselves healthy, our body healthy, and willful effort that I can do, I should do. And the needful equipment and the helpful people and the available opportunities. And the 5th factor, you can call it K factor, K constant, or X factor, or the 5th factor, that daivam, adristam, luck. So that is the importance of ma phaleshu kadachana. Henceforth, ma karma phala hetur bhuhu. We should not claim or claim ourselves to be the prime important people in success, or blame ourselves to be the responsible person when we fail. We have to learn from the failures. Failure is a stepping stone for success, and success should be a springboard for another success. Mate sangostva karmani, and never yield to the inaction. So this is a very important shloka, as you all know. And we talked about samatvam yoga uchyate. Samatvam yoga uchyate. The first 2, equality and equity, are the socio-political definitions. But when it comes to the mental state, it is equanimity, equipoise, or mental equilibrium, the equilibrium of our mental status. And that is samatvam. Samatvam yoga uchyate. And we talked about what is yoga. What is yoga? Not only samatvam yoga uchyate. You see, these in Sanskrit, these words are 8 words. 8. Astakshari mantra. The famous Astakshari mantra is Om Namo Narayanaya. If you ask anybody, any Vaishnava, the Astakshari mantra is Om Namo Narayanaya. 8. Panchakshari mantra, if you ask any Shaivite, it's Om Namah Shivaya. In fact, if you ask Om, it is Shadakshari, but without Om, Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya is Panchakshari mantra. So we find in Bhagavad Gita many Astakshari mantras. And I'll try to point them out so that it is easy to remember. You don't have to remember the entire shloka. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Yoga karmasu kausalam, the dexterity, the excellence, the skill and the perfection we show in our work, with focused mind, with the knowledge given to us. So that is kausalam, kushalata, yoga karmasu kausalam. And when do we get this? We'll see this. Samadhau achala buddhihi, shruti vipratipannate yadastasyati nischala. When we hear so many things and then our mind is so distracted and we cannot focus in one-pointedness, that's when the gurus, the shastras, they actually teach us the essence of all the knowledge. And then that is when the Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana happens. Shravanam, listening. Mananam, reflection. Nididhyasa is deep contemplation and convincing aspect of what we learn, and then the implementation. So conviction and implementation is Nididhyasana. Nididhyasa. Then this, we sometimes, in just as we are practicing in the 6th chapter, we come to know that we cannot always succeed, but we should not be depressed. We should not be despondent. We should not lose our spirit. So, anirvinna chetasa yogaha. And in the 6th chapter, we see the Hakuna Matata. Dukkha samyoga viyogam yoga uchyate. The detachment from attachment to sorrow is called yoga. And this yoga, dukkha, when we practice this yoga which is being taught in the second chapter, it is dukkha. It destroys the sorrow. So if the Swami Tejomayananda, I might have modified it a little bit, but he tells that there are three things in Bhagavad Gita. Samatvam, samatvam. Sthiratvam is that conviction and determination. Samatvam, we just talked about the equilibrium, the equipoise, the equanimity. Sthiratvam, the determination. And sthita prajnatvam, what we learned and what we are taught, that with nididhyasa, implementing it in day-to-day life is that sthita prajna. So Swami Bodhananda once gave a talk on second chapter and mainly focusing on sthita prajna lakshanas 2-3 years ago. So I just put it in a poetic form, the entire discourse. Don't worry, be happy. Worry not, my friend, and be happy forever, proclaims Lord Krishna as the sole message of Gita. He begins the teachings to his disciple and close friend from verse 11, chapter 2, with a message that is profound. Yoga means Hakuna Matata. Yoga means Hakuna Matata. So we have a physical body. Oh, sorry, I think, Yoga means Hakuna Matata. It's a state of detachment from attachment to sorrow. Worry not about past or tomorrow. Expect not the joy from others, rather enjoy expressing the joy. Enjoy expressing the joy. So don't work for happiness, but happily work. Search not for happiness outside, for it is found in abundance inside. Be free from all disturbances, be free from all perturbances. Don't be scared about the world, for you are an instrument of God. We are all finite beings here with a life here and hereafter. God is almighty and all-knower, generator, operator, and destroyer. We have a physical body. We are not this flesh and body. The soul is infinite and immortal. This realization is our life's goal. The reasons for stress are many in this world. The reasons of stress are many. They are urbanization and globalization, atomization and disorganization, complexity and constant change, fear of failure and fear of loss, lack of self-control and insight, compulsion to control others, impulsive actions and reactions, desperate for fast solutions. My friend, see the problems as challenges. For every problem has a solution. Every problem is an opportunity. Live not in delusion and in illusion. Pain and pleasure, joy and worries, happiness and sufferings come and go like tides of ocean. Endure them and enjoy your life. Matra sparshastu kaunteya, shitoshna sukha dukkadaha, agama payino anityaha, tan stitikshasva bharata. Smile like the Lord Sri Krishna, prahasanniva bharata. Chant Om to relax and cheer up. Take a long breath and loosen up. Watch your breath and lighten up. Under pressure and intention. When we are calm and cool, the gates to wisdom are open. Innovations and solutions are seen. Dive deep into the inner self. Draw strength from inner spirit. Look into the eyes of problems. Embrace and face with confidence. Give up all tension and sorrow. Worry not about past and tomorrow. Free yourself from worry and fear. With trust in God, live happily here. This is the essence of Gita, the quintessence of the scriptures. to remove all our ignorance and destroy all the nations. So that's Swami Bodhananda in 2020. Now, Sthita Prajna Lakshanas. Sthita Prajna Lakshanas are very popular, very famous, very much quoted. We have to understand a little bit about this Sthita Prajna Lakshanas. Arjuna asks, so far in the second chapter, Krishna has not mentioned the word Sthita Prajna, if you have noticed. But Arjuna, that is his greatness. He is the student, indeed, with sincerity. He is a sincere seeker, as is the bravest of the warriors. So he might have heard this Sthita Prajna before. Or some say we lost some verses from Bhagavad Gita, few verses, 30 or 40. Maybe it was mentioned in the second chapter that we don't have in the original text now. But so far, we have been talking about the yoga, the yogi, samadhi, and how to act in this world. Just a brief mention was there so far. And now Arjuna asks, is there a person that I can see in this world in a suit, not in saffron robes, in shorts, in sari, at work, and in the world where we interact daily in our day-to-day life? So Arjuna asks this question. Arjuna uvacha sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthitadhi kim prabhaseta kimaseta vrajeta kim. O Krishna, what are the characteristics of this sthita prajna, the even-minded, the one who has samatvam, the one who does the work with kusalata, and the one who is not attached to dukkha, and the one who sees there is matra sparsha as agama apayanaha, as he sees that they come and go, and how he shows that titiksha. So all these are put into this is a prajna. So ka bhasha means language, but bhasha, there is a movie also, Rajinikanth's movie. So, but bhasha means language. But bhasha also means what's his style, what's his characteristics. Then samadhi tasya keshava, O Keshava, what is his samadhi? Samadhi here, samadhi. Remember it as samadhi. Sama is even-mindedness. Dhi is intellect. Even-minded intellect, or the mental equilibrium. The intellect which is in equipoise. So that's samadhi, tasya keshava. Sthitadhihi, sthita or sthira or sthita, the one who is very well established, well seated, whose intellect is well seated in this yoga. So how does he talk? Here, prabhasheta, how does he speak? And Kim Asita, how does he sit in the day-to-day world? How can we recognize him? Vrajeta Kim, how does he move about? So that is how Arjuna is asking Krishna. And then Swami Sarvapriyananda, I had an opportunity to listen this last weekend. He said, Prashna is very important. Prashna is very important in our scriptures because we have to stay with that question. Stay with that question. Then we have to imbibe that question and we have to let it marinate in us. Then let it become our question. Then the answer shall be found and it will be much more meaningful. Much more meaningful. So that is Arjuna Prashna. And many of Arjuna's Prashnas, almost all Arjuna's Prashnas are our Prashnas. Swami Bodhananda has written a book, Arjuna's questions are our questions. Arjuna's questions are our questions. Then So Sthita Prajna here is the one who is able, stable, and noble. Able, stable, and noble. Okay. The one who minimizes his needs and abolishes his greed. Minimizes the need and abolishes the greed. And balanced in thought, in pain and gain, untouched. Detached from the lower plane and attached to the higher realm. So in these 18 verses, the first verse is Arjuna's question. Then Krishna's answers are in 18 verses. As we talked about, Vyasa has great preponderance for 18, number 18. 8 plus 1 is 9. In Sankhya Shastra, 9 means victory. 9 means victory. So here you see, in 18 verses, we talk about Siddha, the accomplished. Siddhi, the accomplishment. And we talk about sadhaka, a seeker, and sadhana, the practice. That's why they are very famous. See, one is the Siddha, we should take him as or her as a role model. Siddhi as the goal. Sadhaka is you and me, and sadhana is our practice. And when you study these 18 verses with this, we will understand it better. And this Sri Ram Sarvottam once, he just gave a glimpse of this word. There are two things here, a sadhaka and siddha. And then when I studied, it made much more sense. And these are the 18 verses, verse 54 to 72. And Prasannaji rendered it so well. If there is time, we will do it again. Otherwise, may I request Prasannaji to record and then send it to our WhatsApp group. So, and you have to pardon me because of lack of time. I may not go into every verse, but when God, Krishna wills, we will do this in detail maybe next year. Sthita Prajna, a stable person with an optimal personality. So optimal personality is the most important word we have to use, that optimum, because perfect personality is the word chosen by some. See, perfection also has some imperfections. Every perfect person we think has the imperfectness. When we include the imperfectness in the perfectness, that becomes optimum, which is right at the given place for the given people and for the given time. So that act is optimum act. So this is optimal personality, right in understanding and truly outstanding. Always motivated and motivating others, rooted in clarity and purity, driven by a purpose and integrity, and a divine and joyful soul. And there are terms which we will see as we go through Bhagavad Gita. Yogi. We don't say Swami, but Yogi. Tyagi. Bhakta. Mukta. Jnani. Gunatita. Sthita Prajna. So all these are interchangeably used. If you look at their characteristics, they fall in line with Sthita Prajna also. So knows the difference between reaction and reflection. Finds opportunity within every challenge. When the going gets tough, they grow tougher and go deeper. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Calm, cool, and composed, accessing the still depths within. Like an ocean, like a tortoise, we will see. Like Janaka the king, like Krishna the teacher, Jagadguru. The Sthita Prajna lives like a vast ocean, like the inward drawn tortoise. There is action and meditation. There is meditation in action, and every action is a meditation. He or she won't do the meditation as an action, but will show that there is meditation in every action. Every action is done as a meditation. In Telugu, I saw this saying somewhere in a naturopathy hospital in Karimnagar. ప్రతి పని ధ్యానం ఒక పనిగా చేయకు, ప్రతి పని ధ్యానంగా చేయి. So the same thing here. So don't do meditation as a set action. In the initial period, that's important. But we have to take the yoga seat or yoga mat. We have to take the yoga mat to the office seat. Yoga mat to the office seat. So that is how we have to. So yoga mat to even car seat. So when we are driving, that's very important. When we are working. So the union of action and stillness. The master of meditation in motion. Isn't it beautiful? Meditation in motion is called Sthita Prajnatvam. So be a Sthita Prajna, a stable person with an optimal personality, right in understanding and truly outstanding. And Bhagavan begins from verse 55 onwards. Shri Bhagavanu vacha prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan atmanyevatmana tushtaha sthita prajnastadochyate. There are many thoughts which come. Thoughts, their nature is to come and go. We should not get lost in thoughts. We should not hang on to one thought. I mean, we should hang on to that one thought, but every thought that comes to, we should not get lost in the forest by looking at a tree. And at the same time, we should not get confused looking at all the trees or thoughts. So they come and go. The nature, watch the thoughts, as Patanjali says. Chitta vritti nirodha. Nirodha means not taming them, but training the mind. Not taming the mind, but training the mind. So just streaming the thoughts. And Atmani eva Atmana tushtaha. The one who is happy within himself or herself, by herself or himself. So the one, if we look at this chair, Swami Ranganathananda says, chair doesn't know he or she is happy. And the child is always happy. But child doesn't realize that he or she is happy. And in the same time, and we see that, so the people who are a little bit immature, but they actually are happy. But the awareness that they are happy and being happy is this, what is said here. So Ranganathananda Swami says, when you are aware of your awareness, you are instantly happy. So that Atmanye Atmana Tushtaha, that is the bliss, that is the Ananda, Brahmananda. And so dukkhas and sukhas, they come and go. They're part of our life. Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha, sukheshu vigata spruhaha, vita raga bhaya krodhaha, stitadhir munirichyate. Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha, not perturbed and disturbed and miserable in the miseries, and not elated in the happy moments. Vita raga bhayakrodaha. Swami Chinmayananda used to ask us to repeat. There used to be hundreds or even thousands of people when he was giving the discourses in Lal Bahadur Stadium grounds, Nizam's grounds in Hyderabad. So he used to ask us to repeat this. Vita raga bhayakrodaha. Raga and bhaya and krodha. Raga, bhaya, krodha, vita gone. So we should reach that state where the raga, intense attachments, are gone. Bhaya, the fear is gone. Krodha, the anger state is gone. So that person is called Sthitadhi. Sthitadhi. So ups and downs in life are very important to keep us going. Because a straight line, even in ECG, means we are not alive, says Ratan Lal Tata. So if there are no ups and downs in our life, it means we are not alive. And a great example is given. And we see tortoise in many, many temples as we are entering. At some point before Garbhagudi, before the Sanctum Sanctorum, you see this tortoise. And tortoise, Kurmavatar, the one who bears everything, and the one who bears all the difficulties, all the results of life. And whenever there are problems foreseen, whenever there are disturbances foreseen, and Swami Chinmayananda used to describe this on the beach. When you are going, you'll see this tortoise nicely moving, minding his own or her own business. And the moment a sound is heard, the moment a spill of sand grain is perceived, then it draws all the limbs. 4 limbs, the head and tail. 4 limbs plus 1 tail are 5 organs of ours, 5 organs of action, 5 organs of perception. 5 organs of action and 5 organs of perception. And the head is the mind. So withdrawing all these, keeping under the shell, and then staying stable. यदा संहरते चायं कूर्मोऽङ्गानीव सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. यदा संहरते च अयं कूर्मः अङ्गानि इव सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणि इन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः. Indriyarthas are the sense objects, and indriyas are sense organs. So withdrawing the sense organs from the sense objects whenever they are distracting us, just like the tortoise. So one who is able to withdraw his or her senses from the sense objects as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell is firmly balanced and firmly established in this prajna. Jna means knowledge. Prajna means prakristena jnanam. The knowledge which is established steadily and implemented in action is prajna. So that is the great verse. So it's worth remembering. Yada samharate chayam kurmongani va sarvashah indriyani indriyathebhyah tasya prajna pratisthita. And now we come to this couplet, the 2 verses about Kama and Krodha. Kama and Krodha. And these verses are often quoted as a spiral, downward spiral. They call it ladder, but ladder is used to go up and then to go down as well. So this downward spiral, it starts with our contemplation or thought of Vishayas, the objects. And the mind dwells on that sense pleasures. And that dhyana in the sense thinking of that. So here not the meditative dhyana. So thinking of that, we develop some attachment. And then with that attachment, a desire is born and then becomes strong. Kama. Kama is an irresistible desire is called kama. Swami Chinmayananda defines irresistible desire is kama. Kama means lust also. Kama means the Cupid also is kama, and kama is any desire, also kama. But here when we are talking about, it's a strong craving, irresistible desire. And then if it is fulfilled, another kama is born. If it is not, then krodha, anger is born. Then in anger, we get deluded. The clarity is lost. And when the clarity is lost in that moha or some moha, smriti vibhrama happens. Smriti, our memory, whatever we learned is forgotten. And then once that smriti bhramsha happens, buddhi nasha happens. The intellect, the discriminative power is gone. And then once that is gone, then pranashyati. So one perishes. So this is slippery slope, as you can see. And the shlokas are 2, they go together because they're complete if we say it together. I'll first read the shloka and then we'll go over this slippery slope. ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः सङ्गस्तेषूपजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. So contemplation on the sense objects leads to attachment, and attachment gives rise to desire. And the desire, when it becomes intense, if it is fulfilled, another desire is born. There is a shloka in Bhagavatam. So, najatu kama kamanam upabhogena samyati havisha krishnavatmeva bhuya evabhi vardhate. So, this desire is like fire. And if you put the oblation, the clarified butter, the ghee into the fire, do you think it will appease? It will only blaze more. So that is how, so if you fulfill these desires, the intense desires, which are the need versus greed, if you have to remember that. So we have desire, a good desire for you, our own development and for good of the society. Two things, Atmano mokshartham jagat hitayach. That is a good desire. But every desire which comes through our mind, if we keep on getting attached to and fulfilling, then another desire is born. If that desire is not fulfilled and anger comes, then in anger the delusion and then loss of memory and then destruction of intelligence. So that you can see this, the same thing. I just put it again. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangaha teshu upajayate. Sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodhobhijayate. Krodhat bhavati sammohaha sammohat smriti vibhramaha. Smriti bhramshat buddhinashaha buddhinashat pranashyati. So this slide is worth keeping or worth memorizing and worth remembering. And then we talked about Vita Raga Bhayak Krodhaha. There is a verse in 3rd chapter as well and in the 2nd chapter as well. This Raga and Dvesha. We talked about when we talked about the very first verse in the 1st chapter. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsava mamakaha pandavaschaiva kimakurvata sanjaya. Raga is mamakaha, my own people. I, me, myself, and mine and my own. Dvesha is not mine, they, and Dvesha is hatred. So Ragadvesha viyuktaistu or vimuktaistu Vishayan indriyaischaran atmavashyair vidheyatma prasadam adhigachati. So it is not that we should not enjoy the Vishaya Sukhas, but we should know the limitations of them. We should know the power of them if we are drawn towards them. And we should also know the temporary nature of them. And we should also know that they are the givers of sukha and dukkha, matras, parshas. Then, if we are detached from these two, and then work in the world, enjoying the sense objects with the limits, Atmavashyair vidheyatma, keeping our mind in control, keeping our intellect stable, that person, prasadam adhigachati, he reaches or she reaches that prasada sthiti. Prasada is where there is prapanchopashamanam. The mind comes to a calm, steady state. Prapancha upashamanam. So nothing in the world distracts us. So that intense attachment is gone. Then Raga, if we are attached to, it is a roadblock with intense attachment blinding our judgment. Dvesha, hatred, is only a contempt breeding the contempt. So these are the two roadblocks. We will come to that again in the third chapter. So these are paripanthinau. Indriyasyarthe ragadvesho. Indriyasyarthe ragadvesho vyavasthitau tayorna vashamagachet tauhi asya paripanthinau. Paripanthina means roadblocks. Then how to stay away from these vishayas? So one is, of course, abstinence. That's a practice. But let's say, a lot of people give this example. Our Guru Garu, Sister Garu used to give gulab jamun example. So he was a diabetic also, juvenile diabetic. So let us say, gulab jamun, you're so fondly and intensely, so desirous of eating gulab jamun. So now our friend, Anup, he says, no sweets at home. Don't take sweets to anyone else. Don't ask or accept sweets from anyone else. So that is one way of staying away from them. But then if there is a craving, is it really staying away from them? Anyway, Swami, Jiyar Swami used to say, oh, you know what, today is Saturday, I can't eat. But you want to eat. Or, oh, I gave up sweets 1 year ago. If you have given up, why do you want to remember when you gave up? So that is how staying away from attractions, being aware of their distractions, and beware of the destructions. So keeping sense objects at bay is no doubt a wise thing. But if craving still reigns in us, what good is that distance to us? So now we have to realize the limitations of it. We have to realize the side effects of it, the short-term and the long-term effects of it. And then automatically there is the distance mentally happens. And not only that, when you look at something higher, the more important than that, health, let us say, health is much more important than eating sweets without a control for anybody, not only a diabetic. So when the higher self is seen, the grace is upon us, then the cravings truly dissolve, gone forever with no returns. So we'll read this verse. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param društva nivartate. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha. Nirahara, staying away. I mean, ahara means not only food, anything. So for ears, so whatever, so you hear the music, for eyes, whatever you see, and then for the skin, whatever you touch. So all these vishayas, nivartante, vinivartante, from dehinaha, from us. But rasavarjam, rasa, that craving remains. But this rasa is also gone when you see beyond that. Param društva nivartate. Param is ultimate, beyond what you see in these limited objects. So param društva, having seen the higher state, the higher taste, then this craving is also gone. So param društva, we seeing param is ultimate. Param is the supreme consciousness. The supreme soul is also called param. Parantapa, we heard. Paramatma, Paramapadam. So param means that supreme state. So the second meaning is param društva nivartate. We put in our human effort, but there should be a divine effect. So that dharma megha falls on us, the grace showers on us. So that param društva nivartate. So human effort and divine effect. So that is what we want. But if we don't, and then if we just indulge in these sense objects, and we saw the sense objects or the roads, the senses are the horses, and the mind is the reins of the horses, which are held by the intellect, that is saradhi. Buddhim tu saradhim vidhi. So if we don't have the control, and the reins are loose and horses go everywhere, so that's what it is given as an example of boat, the yacht in the ocean. Indriyanam hi charatam yanmanonvidhiyate tadasya harati pragyam vayurnavamivambhasi. Ambhasi, in the ocean. Navam iva, just like the nava or boat, iva, like that. Vayu, the wind blows and takes it in different direction, the way where it's blowing in the direction of the wind. So indriyanam charatam yat manaha anuvidhiyate. If the mind goes after the indriyas and the indriyarthas, that man's mind and prajna is drawn and lost forever, like the wind blows away the boat. So one who indulges in pleasure's delight loses their balance and their inner sight, like a boat on the ocean tossed by the winds, drifting aimless through turbulent seas. Indriyanam hi charatam yanmanonvidhiyate tadasya harati pragyam vayurnavamivambhasi. So that mind draws the intellect. So that's Dushtashva ivasarathi. The horses, the pull the chariot in various different directions. And a saint, a sthita prajna, a sthitadhi, a muni. So all these we can actually remember with a mnemonic saint, S-A-I-N-T. S for stability, A for ability, I for integrity, and N for nobility, and T for tranquility. I'll repeat again, S-A-I-N-T, saint. S for stability, sthiratvam, and A for ability, kushalatvam, yoga karma sukausalam. I for integrity, sthita prajnatvam. Nobility is appreciated by all. That's aryatvam. And then tranquility. So this, the state of tranquility is pratisthita prajna. And these people, they now can see everything. So what is a day to us when we are all indulged and going after, so all these versus someone who is looking at them. So it is like a night for the people who are indulged in them like in daytime. So that's a night for them. And what is night for most of us, which we cannot see, that is the day for them, because they can see everything clearly, with clarity, with purity, with serenity. And then that divinity is in them, so they can see beyond what we don't see. So what is night for all beings is a time of awakening for the self-controlled. And the time of awakening for all of us getting indulged in this world without any knowledge and without any awareness, that is night for the introspective sage or saint. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagatti samyami. This Sanskrit is little difficult, but we have to read it this way. So yanisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sanisha pashyato munehe. So that is how this saint is. And then there is an ocean example. Ocean. We have seen these movies, Ocean's 11. The old one is very good, but these new ones are also okay. Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, and Ocean's 13. So they're all good. But now here is the Ocean's verse. So 70, we can see it in 70 mm. So remember, it's verse 70. So this Sthita Prajna is like an ocean, All rivers join the ocean, and the ocean is unshaken. All the thoughts come into, but we are not wavered. So this saint is Sthita Prajna, is not wavered. All rivers join the ocean, and the ocean is unshaken. All the waters fill the ocean to the brim, still there is no grim by the ocean. All absorbing, all inclusive, all accommodating, all encompassing, watching all the thoughts, let them come, let them go. Be like an ocean, vast and deep, ever active outside, with waves and tides, the turbulences, very active, but still inside, stillness inside, deep and silent. So that is an ocean. Sthita Prajna is like an ocean. So now I'll try to summarize this in last 5-6 minutes in a poetic way. Swami Sarvapriyananda, he calls Sthita Prajna Lakshanas as spiritualizing the work. Spiritualized work is called Sthita Prajnatvam. Bringing the divinity into our daily living is Sthita Prajnatvam. A stable person with an optimal personality, right in understanding, truly outstanding. Always motivated and inspiring others, rooted in clarity and purity, driven by the purpose and integrity. A divine and joyful soul, yogi, swami, tyagi, bhakta, jnani and mukta, gunatita and sthita prajna, as I just mentioned in the beginning, knows the difference between the action and the reaction, reflection and response, finds the opportunity in every challenge. And when the going gets tough, they become tough and get going, calm, cool and composed, accessing to the depths within. In simple terms, Sarvapriyananda says, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to say, it seems, the simplicity without complexity is the closest state to the divinity. The simple we are, the closer we are to the divinity. Simplicity without complexity. Happy in himself, by himself, or happy in herself, by herself. Doesn't chase happiness, moves through life with happiness. Sthita Prajna lives like the vast ocean, the inward drawn tortoise, like Janaka the king, like Krishna the Lord. Doesn't do meditation but makes every action as a meditation. A union of action and stillness, a master of meditation in motion. He whoever he be, he who casts off, she whosoever she be, she who casts off. So it's implied from now onwards, he or she, all the cravings and selfish desires thereof, revels in the self by the self, Atmanyev Atmana Tushtaha, is a perfect person, nay, the optimal person, and true to the self. Neither elated in utmost joyful situation, nor dejected in the most pitiful condition. Once again, neither elated in utmost joyful situation, nor dejected in the most pitiful condition. He neither praises the joy nor curses the sorrow. Success or failure, my friend, he or she is a distinct hero. He or she is calm and composed, ever in equipoise, withdrawing the senses just like a tortoise, steers away from the sensual worldly pleasures, knowing their limitations and then transient nature, stares away at the divinity beyond all measures. Like the dreadful dragons, our sense organs are forceful and mighty. They drag us into deadly sinful ocean, like the mighty wind. What a great pity. But a yogi controls himself or herself, restraining his or her mind in piety. He or she walks in the path of Supreme Self like a tortoise with great equipoise and equanimity. He or she knows the cause of sorrow and the trail of downfall like a rolling stone that falls down from the top of the hill. He or she knows one's desire leads to another. One desire leads to another when fulfilled. And the same desire leads to anger when unfulfilled. While anger goes out of control, one gets deluded. Then memory is diluted and the mind is polluted, thus losing his or her power of intellect and the just. The ignorant and arrogant forever is lost. A perfect man or woman isn't caught in the clutches of destruction. With great fortitude and the utmost conviction, he or she strives hard and walks towards perfection with no dejection, knowing the sequential destruction. the downward spiral. What is a day for most of us is a night for a seer. While many of us live in sensual pleasure, he or she is cool and at leisure. A wise man behaves more like an ocean. The perfect person is never swayed from his mission. Such a one is a perfect man or a perfect woman, the divine embodiment of Atman and Brahman, living the practical science and loving the philosophical digest with simplicity and sincerity and serenity, nobility. He or she acts here with hands in the society and mind in the forest. The journey is over. All sorrow is gone. Every shackle is broken. They stand unshaken. Their senses are well controlled like well trained horses. Their souls are free of pride and jealousy. They welcome everyone like Mother Earth. They are no longer bound by life and death. They pray for peace and joy, health and wealth for all. So, Bhagavad Gita, these Sthita Prajna Lakshanas are like a mirror. So, the mirror for the self, a manual for life, journal for all, where the good and bad stand on each side. It teaches us what to see, how to speak, when to act, what to eat, and how to simply be. Sleep, joy, sorrow, duty, all in balance. Moderation in living, meditation in being. It speaks of devotion and emotion, knowledge and wisdom, gives the virtues to breed, points us to the vices to shed. It's a mirror reflecting the soul, correcting the distortions, connecting us deeper to the outer world, to the inner supreme self. So that's what is taught in the second chapter. So we'll go through this karma yoga, how we act, and also how we feel, our relation to God, our own God, bhakti yoga, and the way we reason it out, jnana yoga. So what we do is karma, what we feel is prema, love, what we think is dharma. And when every karma is done with love and dharma, with prema and dharma, that karma becomes karma yoga. So before, we were looking out for things. Now we got an outlook of the things. We were afraid of. Every situation is now what? And as we go through every thought, we just think, so what? And when we thought like Arjuna, there is hopeless end. But now we are looking at endless hope. We thought everything in the world is a treasure to accrue and accumulate. But now we got a friend, Gita and Jagadguru Krishna, as a treasure. Thank you so much.